I'm deepanshu. Today we are going to talk about verbal arithmetic. It's also called cryptarithmetic or word addition. It has many other names. So basically the meaning is here the numbers are represented in form of letters and we are basically solving. So this will be the question that will be given to us, something like this, and we need to find a solution, something like this. So this is like basic maths, right? Like addition, subtraction, and multiplication and all that. So uh, our goal is to identify the value of each and every letter which is there in the question. So there are some rules. So rules are one is it will be a unique value for each letter. So that means like if B is 0, then A cannot be 0. A cannot be 0. And the second rule is uh, the the leading digits will be non-zero. So the CBB. So here C is not 0, because if C is 0, then that makes this a two-digit number, right? And which defies the rule of the questions. So all this needs is practice, and because it's just like basic maths, right? Addition and subtraction, and that's all. That's all the prerequisites are. So let's move on to the example. So this is like a basic example. Here we have this question: Tom plus cab is equal to boat. So how I started these questions is like I create a matrix like this, and I just tend to eliminate the values which cannot be the value of that particular letter. So if t cannot have 9, then I'll remove 9 from the matrix. So let's start. So always start from the left. Always start from the left side, because as we know the rule that it has, if it's a 4-digit number, then the leftmost digit, the leading digit is non-zero. So B, C, and T, these are the leading digits of the numbers. So these cannot be 0. Now let's remain on the left side only for now, and see, we have two big 3-digit numbers. What will be the sum of these two? 1998. So it goes to show that however big a two three digits number are, it will never exceed the 4-digit will never exceed 1. So the maximum value that the 4th digit, or B, the thousandth digit here, will acquire is 1. That is the maximum value, and we know it cannot be 0, so it has to be 1. So we will finalize B to be 1, and we will remove all the other values from the matrix. So we'll also find like if there is B somewhere else, so everywhere wherever the B is, the value will be 1 for that, and it will be unique. No other can have value 1, so we have removed value 1 for all the others, because that's not a possibility. Now moving on, so we have found this new value, right? This value of B. Now this will lead us to the next, to the next step of the question. Now there is one more thing. We have one more a trick that helps us solve this. So if A plus B is shown as A, so what will be the value of B here? It will be either 0, right? It has to be 0. There is no other possibility that we can get A as A. So like here we have A is equal to O plus A. So this O has to be 0. and there has to be we don't have a carry here, so that carry also has to be 0, and the value of O has to be 0, so that whatever the value A has will come as it is, right? So we have O as 0, then these two will not be 0, and O is here as well, so we'll put 0 here as 0, right? So that's how we solve the verbal arithmetic problems. Now let's move to a real question and just start practicing a little. So this is like the most famous question that we have in verbal arithmetic. Let's start with this one. So as you know, we'll start from the left side. Let's start. So Sm will not be 0. So value of m will be 1, as I explained in the last question. So 9999 can be the maximum value of sen, and 9999 can be the maximum value of more. So it will not exceed 20,000, right? It will be less than 20,000. So m's maximum value will be 1. So we will remove 1 from all the other letters. Okay. Now, as m is 1, we will put 1 here as well. Is there any other m? No, there isn't. Now, we have this new value. This will lead us to the next value. So we have s plus m, which is giving us O, basically O plus 10, right? So s plus m is equal to O plus 10, and we know that m is 1, so s is equal to O plus 9, right? So here we can have a maximum. What can be the maximum value of s? That can be 9, right? So O has to be 0. But wait, we can also get a carry from here, right? Let's have a carry as 1. So that will change our equation to 1, right? And that will make it 8. So this value can be 8. So O is 0 in this case, right? Because if we'll put 9 here, then it will become 11 at the bottom, which cannot be the case, because m is 1, so O cannot be 1, right? So this has to be 0. Now we will see if we are getting a carry or not. And this s, if there is a carry, then it has to be 8, and if there is no carry, then it has to be 9, right? That will make a 10 here. Now if you will see, this O is also present here, so we'll write 0. Now if there's a 0 in this equation, like E plus O is equal to n, then there will never be a carry, because there's a 0 here, right? Even if there's a carry coming here, and if is the highest number, then we can have 0 here, which is not possible and cannot be 0, right? So there will be no carry. So carry will be 0 here, and this value has to be 9. So O is 0, S is 9, is there anywhere else where we have S? Okay, no, we don't. Okay. Now, what we are getting here is, so we found this new value of O and this new value of S. So this S doesn't help us much, but this new value of O will help us to have something more. So here we have an equation something like E plus O plus if there is a carry equal to n, and O here is 0, so I'll just remove it. So E, and if there is a carry, will be equal to n, right? So there should be carry because E is not equal to n. That's what we know, because these value must be unique. So this is there will be a carry here, that we'll know for sure. And we also know that n is one more than E. Whatever the value E has, n will be one more. Okay. Now we have n and E in this equation as well, right? In this column. So we can write n plus r plus, if there is a carry, is equal to 10 plus E. Now we know that E plus 1 is equal to n. So we can put E plus 1 here. So that will become E plus 1 plus R is equal to 10 plus E. So what will this give us? This will give us R is equal to 8. There has to be a carry, else R's value will be 9, right? So we'll have to have this 1 here, else R will become 9. So R will be 8. And we are still not sure of the value of E or N, but we have the value of R. Okay. Now we have the value of R. Now let's move to the next column maybe. So here we have D and E adding up to Y, and we have to have a carry here, right? We found this carry in the last step, so let's stick to this thing and we will find something from this column. So D plus E is equal to 10 plus Y, right? There is no carry here, it's the first column, so this is the equation that we have. Now we have to make what can be the minimum value of Y. We'll see from this matrix the minimum value can be 2, right? So, and the maximum value can be 7, so it can be 17. It can vary from 12 to 17. That's what the value can be when we'll add D and E. So now when we will see the maximum and minimum of D and E, how can we get a 12? We can get a 12 by 7 plus 5. And what can be the maximum here? That can be 14. Actually 13, right? Because the value can be 7 only for D and E both, right? And those cannot be same. So 7 and 6 or 7 and 5. That these two can be the option. These two are the option for D and E. So 7 is gone. So one of them will have 7 and one of them will have 5 or 6. So we will just remove this for now. So Y will be either 2 or 3, right? Because this is 12 and 13. So when we'll put 7 and 5 or 7 and 6 here, it will become 12 and 13. So it cannot have 4, 5, 6, 7. So Y will only be 2 or 3. Now, we know that when we will add 1 to E, it will give us N. So E's maximum value are these. So N's maximum value will be, N's value will be like this, and it cannot have 7. Let me slow it down. So E plus 1 is N. So N's value will be 1 more than E's value. and the window for E is 5, 6, 7, and the window for N is 2 to 7. So if we'll put N as E plus 1, so that can be 6 for 5, 7 if we'll add 1 to 6, and 8 if we'll add 1 to 7. So it can have 6, 7, 8, but 8 is already excluded here. So we will also remove 7 from this thing. So E's value can be 5 or 6. So if E is 5 or 6, then D is definitely 7. So D will be definitely 7. Right? Because, so, and E can be 5, 5 or 6. And this can be 6, 6 or 7. So this is where we are. Now, if we'll consider, now we'll have to, do a hit and trial. We don't have any other way. Actually, we do. We know that D is 7, so N cannot be 7, right? And if N is 6, then E cannot be 6. So now we have values. So E will be 5, N will be 6, and this will be 2. So here we have the answer. So send more money is basically 9567 added to 1085, and that will give us 10,652. So now moving on to a different type of question. There can be this is like a simple addition, arithmetic addition, right? We can also have multiplications like this. So like we had this rule in addition that A plus B is equal to A, that helps us identify the value of B. Similarly, we have rules in this thing as well. We will try to go to values which are A multiplied by A is giving us something like this. We'll try to find such scenarios, or we will try to find such scenarios like so basically if something is being multiplied and is ending in the same digit, same letter basically here. So we'll try to find these things because, so let's try to solve this question here. We have a scenario like this, like we discussed. We have like this t multiplied with the t will give us t. So this can only happen if this is a 5 or a 6 or a 1, right? Because if you multiply 1 with a 1, it will give you 1, and likewise the same goes for 5 and 6. But the chances of t happening to be 1 are not there, right? Because then it will become rat only, right? If something is multiplied with 1, it's the same thing. So it cannot be 1. Now, either it can be 5 or a 6. Let's assume it's a 6. So if this is 6, then what should be multiplied with a 6 that the multiple, the result is less than 1000. So r's value will be less than 2, right? It has to be 1. Or even if it's 5, the r value will be less than 2 because if it becomes 2, it will become 1000 or more, right? So we will remove the values of 2 and above from our matrix, and that gives us r's value as 1 because it cannot be 0, right? Now moving on, let's try to put 6 here. Now what should we multiply with 6 that it gives us the same thing as it is there up here. So A's value will be same, right? In the multiplier and in the result as well. And there is a uh, carry of 3 which is there in this question. So basically it becomes 6 into A plus 3 is equal to something ending in A. So that can be now when we will multiply like this, and this will be the result that we are looking to get. Now whatever this digit is, whatever this blank space is, we will remove 6 from this, so that will be something, there will be something ending in A that should be equal to 3, right? So this cannot be the case, because let's see, let's do a hit and trial. So say if A's value is 2, which is the minimum to start with, or A can be 0 as well. Let's start with 0. So if A is 0, then here the A will become 3, which is not same as 0. If A is 1, then here A will become 9, right? And if A is 2, it will become 15. If A is 3, it will become 21. If A is 4, it will become 27. If A is 5, it will become 33. If A is 6, it will become 39, which cannot be the case. If A is 7, it will become 5. If A is 8, it will become 1 again. If A is 9, then this will become 7 again. So this means that this cannot be 6. Our assumption was wrong, and so the value of t must be 5. Right. Now we know the value of t is 5. Now let's try to find the value of a. So here let's start. A can be 0. So, but that will make 0 here and 2 here, which is wrong. The next value is a can be 2. So 5 into 2, 10, plus 2, 12. This satisfies our condition, right? And we know that there will be a carry of 1, and we know 125 into 5 is 625. So that solves the problem. Now that these are like the basic problems that are there in verbal arithmetics, and like these are easy to solve. Now let's move to a little difficult one. So here we have a 5-digit number plays, and a 4-digit number well, and a 6-digit number better. So if you just wanted to know the basic of verbal arithmetic, you can stop this video and just practice on your own some easy questions. This is a little tough one, and it might not be very helpful if you want to just you're looking for some easy examples and some easy questions to look at. You can find questions on Google and work them out. But let's move to the solution of this thing. How we'll solve this. Now we have these 3 numbers, and we want to find the value of these digits into in a form of digits. Now how we'll start? We'll start from the left as usual. B, W and P cannot be 0. So if you have noticed, we have like 10 of these, so all the numbers will be used from 0 to 9. So this is a good one. B cannot be 0, W cannot be 0, and P cannot be 0. And we know it should be 1, because the leftmost digit cannot be a 0, right? This has to be 9, because to make it a 6-digit number, it should be like one of the very big 4-digit number, and this should be like a very big 5-digit number and a 4-digit number, right? So I think P is 9. Let's check. So if the value of P is 8, let's assume, and there is a carry coming from here, say 1, then it will become 9 and B will become 0, which should not be the case. So the value of P should be 9, and there should be a carry coming, which will make E as 0. So we know now that P is 9, and we know that E is 0. Okay. Do we have P and E somewhere else in the equation? Yeah, we do. We have E. Do we have a P? No, we don't. So now we have quickly solved, we have got value of these 3 digits. Let's remove value against P as well from here. Okay. Now we got these 2 new values. Let's focus on these and get some more equations or some more values. So as we did in the last question, here we have a 0 being added to A, which gives us a T. So there must be a carry, because else A will become equal to T, which should not be the case. So there must be a carry here, right? I'll just highlight the new things that we get in each and every step. So this is the carry that we will get here, and we have an equation now that T is equal to A plus 1. Right. Now we have this equation. Now let's consider this thing. L and W are also giving us a carry here, like we saw in the last equation when we found the value of E. We also got this. So there must be something which we can pull out of it. So L plus W will be equal to 10 plus T, right? Because we have a carry, so this will be 10 and T is here. So this is another equation that we got. Also we got this carry now. So let's see. Let's make a similar equation from this one. Y plus L is equal to plus 1 equal to 10. So basically this means Y plus L equal to 10 or 9. Right. Okay. Now let's try to find minimum and maximum. So whenever you get stuck in such questions, you have to apply maximum or minimum, or you have to do an hidden trial, like we did here when we found the value 5 and 6 and something like that, right? Like we did here, we put 5 and 6 and 1 by one, because we didn't have anything to go forward with, right? Now when we will try to find the maximum minimum of this thing, let's see. So Y plus L is equal to 10 or 9. So this doesn't give me anything, any good result. Let's consider the other equation. L plus W is equal to 10 plus T. Okay. Now let's find, so this is L plus W, right? Let's find what can be the minimum value that it can have, so that it gives me a T. So T, the minimum value of T will be 2, right? We can see from the equation the minimum value will be 2, and so L plus W needs to be bigger than that. So it can be 5 plus 7, that's the minimum thing, or this L and W can be 5 or 7, or what can be the maximum of this? 9 is already taken, so this can be 8 or 7, right? That's the maximum that we can put here. So now let's find the maximum value of t when we'll put these two. This is L and W. What will be the maximum value of t? Maximum and minimum. So it can be 2 here, and here it will be 5, right? Or if we have a carry here, oh, we will not have a carry because there is a 0 in this equation. So whatever the number is here, that will be less than 9. That can be 8 at max. That will make it 9, right? So a will not even be 8. So we'll come there later. So there will be no carry here. So it will be 0, right? And so the minimum value will be 2 and the maximum value will be 5. But as we know that t is a plus 1 and a's minimum value is 2, so t's minimum value will be at least 3. So we'll have to remove it, and we'll remove this 8 as well, because if a will become 8, then t has to become 9. So we'll remove this 8 as well from here. Okay, now this has to be 3, the minimum value. That will make it 6 and 7, or 8 and 5, or 6 and 7. Like these two other values that L and W can get to reach here. But the maximum will remain the same, 8 and 7, I guess. The T can be 8 and the W can be 7, right? Or vice versa. Now we know that T is less than 9 and more than 3, less than 5 and more than 3. So we'll remove all the other values, and as T is 1 more than A, then we will remove these values from A as well, right? The values of L and Y here. So L can be 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, and our Y corresponding to this L in this column 2. Here's Y. So Y can be 2 or 3 or 4, right? So here we will have two values of Y. One with carry, where the sum is 9, and one without carry, where the sum is 10. So there will be nothing in this case. And one is already taken, so we're gonna put it there. And so that's how it will be. Now let's consider by putting this value in the equation and see how L behaves elsewhere, like not in this column obviously. We have two more positions of L as well, right? So we are not considering in this column because we have already set our sample space as per this column. So we will try to put the same value in different columns. Let's consider that L as 8. So to make it 8, and obviously there should not be a carry because Y is 2 here, right? And there should not be a carry. It has to be 1, and it has to be 9, or it has to be 0. If it is 0, then this is also 8, which is wrong. If it is 1, then it is 9, which has already been taken. If it is 2, it cannot be 2, it's already taken by Y, and it even, gives a carry. So it cannot be 8. So we'll eliminate this thing. Let's consider the value 7. So Y will be 2 or 3. Let's consider that it's 3. If it is 3, then it has to be 1 is already taken, 0 is already taken. It has to be 2. No, it cannot be 2 because 9 is already taken by P. And so I think this case is also gone. Let's consider when this is 7 and this is y is 2, and there will be a carry in this case. We're considering this case now. So it's 2, there will be a carry 1. So to make that carry 1, we'll have to put a 4 here. 4 cannot happen because that'll make R 1, and we already have. Let's put 5 here. So that'll make it 2, but 2 is already taken by y. Let's put 6 here. Yep, that fits. If it is a 6, then it's 3, and it's going fine. But on this side, let's check if this satisfies this case as well. So if it is a 7, then we have to put an 8 here. Okay, we have to put an 8 here, and this will become 15. This is 5. This will become 4. Right, I think we got our answer. Alright, that's the end of it. Thank you. Like the video if you think you learned something today. Cheers. Have a great day.